2000s. And the Miracle Tree documentary focused on a tree called Moringa oleifera. And Moringa oleifera is the most nutrient-rich plant on earth ever discovered by far. And it had been around for thousands of years. It had been studied, it had been researched. It's the most studied plant in Western pharmacopoeia. A lot of people in the science world knew about it, but no one was doing anything with it. And one of the main reasons was because the tree stunk. The leaves and the seeds were very pungent. And so, drug companies had tried to make some things from it unsuccessfully. So it was sitting there until the documentary came out. This gentleman here viewed it and decided to try to deliver it to us as a food. And so the whole purpose of the company starting in 2005 was his idea of delivering moringa to us, again, as a food. Okay? A lot of people didn't think it was possible to do, but again, it was successful because here we are. This gentleman joined Zija a little over 4 years ago, and the reason that he's important to know about, not because he has a PhD or because he wears a white coat or anything like that, is because he decided after graduating from Harvard, he was graduated first in his class, PhD in biomedical sciences. That's with a wife and 2 children. He did his degree in half the time that it normally takes people to complete that. And the reason I'm telling you this is because he could have gone to work for anybody on the planet, okay, for a lot more money. His philosophy was, instead of me going and spending my time working with a pharmaceutical company and creating drugs for things that are easily preventable, I'd rather go on the front end and work with a company that is doing things to help people on the front end. Okay? And so for less money, he came and worked for Zija because he believed in what he was doing and what we were doing. And so without him, or with him being at Zija, that's the reason we have essential oils today, because of some of the experiences he had at Harvard, things he was interested in and studied. And so we're very fortunate to have him as part of Zija, because without him, we would be still just limited to moringa, which is nothing wrong with that, but makes us have more products and offerings that are helpful to people. This is the corporate headquarters located outside of Salt Lake City, Utah. Been there. It's an impressive facility, but that looks nice. But this is a lot more impressive to me. This facility here is a pharmaceutical grade facility in the same general area, and I always tell people we can talk about this in the next couple hours. We don't have time for that, but let me just put it this way: this is as pristine as it gets. Okay, there are no corners being cut. In fact, we go above and beyond what we're required to go above and beyond to deliver this to people. In other words, just the moringa itself, we could be getting moringa leaf powder from someplace in China, for example. We could be at some building out here on the east end of Louisville, processing it into products and delivering it to people and saying, hey, we're giving you moringa. Perfectly legit. It could be nutraceutical grade, whatever we refer to it, lay people refer to it as like dietary supplement law here in the United States. We could be operating much lower than what we are. We're operating at a pharmaceutical grade because we want to make sure that from the farm to your mouth, which we control the farms, we grow moringa in India, and we control it all the way to your mouth. We want to make sure that when your family tears open that sachet, mixes it with water, and ingests it, that you're getting the maximum amount of nutrition that you can from the tree. That's the whole purpose of the company being started. That gentleman I showed you a picture, he didn't need any money. He was already a multi-millionaire. He did this to help people. And the only way you can really help people is to give them the nutrition that they need, and in doing that, he made sure there weren't any corners being cut along the way. We can go into infrastructure and discussion of logistics. Just take my word for it. And if you want to catch me afterwards and ask me any specific questions, I'll be happy to discuss it with you. But just know that from farm to your mouth, there are no corners being cut. In fact, we're going way above what's required to make sure you're getting quality and nutrition. The food pyramid. We learned about this, most of us probably in grade school. And we learned the basics of what we're supposed to be eating. I'll go ahead and very quickly, I'll share some things, kind of go off track a little bit, but this is going to be very valuable information for you. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you just aren't really applying it. Not sure, but either way, it's good to hear it again. There's really 4 things you got to be doing to get the most out of the body that God gave you. Okay, 4 things. We'll start with water or hydration. So I'm sitting right here. I was someone who, from a big part of my life, I thought that I was really doing well taking care of myself. I was misguided in a lot of areas. I was very misguided when it came to nutrition. Guess what I found out in studying nutrition and getting smarter or wiser in those areas? I found that maybe there's some things related to water, sleeping, and exercise I need to get better at too. And that was correct. That was accurate. When I started asking the questions and reading and gathering information. So here's what I've learned. When it comes to hydration, women need to be getting about 70 to 80 ounces a day. Men up close to 100. All right. Depending on what you're doing physically, you may need a little more than that, but that's the basics. So I'll just use the Mayo Clinic is a good. I think they recommend 9 to 13 cups of water a day. So basic math, 9 ounces or 8 ounces in a cup. 9 times 8 is 72. So minimum of 72 ounces. 72 ounces is a lot of water. You have to make a real effort to drink that much water every day. Okay. So if you're not doing it right now, I'm telling you, you're hurting yourself. You might not realize it, but you're physically hurting your body because you're not providing your body the correct nutrition or the correct hydration. So I guess the question will come up, well, what's the problem if I don't? Okay. Well, here's the first 3 things that pop up as issues. Headaches, fatigue, and muscle soreness. Headaches, fatigue, muscle soreness. Because you don't give yourself enough water. Now, there's about 150 million Americans that complain of headaches every day. I wonder how many of those people, when they get around their health professionals, are being told, drink more water. How do most people react to a headache? Well, they get a couple of capsules or tablets, and they maybe take a little bit of water, and they pop some pills and drink it to try to take care of their headache. Why aren't people being taught to drink more water? I'm going to tell you to be quite blunt, there's no money in it. That's why. What I'm telling you right now, there is no money in this. I'm just giving you good advice. So it's sad that a lot of people are dealing with headaches and they probably don't know. You do now. That it may be related to not giving themselves enough water. Fatigue and muscle soreness. Let's say that you don't give yourself enough water, which most of you probably don't. You go home after work and you like to go work out or exercise, but you got a little bit of fatigue or muscle soreness. That might knock you out of the box of doing the next thing you're supposed to be doing, which is exercise. Don't feel like doing it. All it takes sometimes is something little to knock you off. Well, I'll wait till tomorrow, I'll put it off, whatever. So let's talk about exercise. So I've exercised my whole life in a variety of ways. I found out, I'm not going into detail, but I found out that some of the things I was doing from a lifting or an aerobic standpoint weren't really that great for my body. All right. So here's what I'm going to tell you what the minimum is for the optimum. Everybody listening real close. I'm going to tell you the minimum for the optimum. You need to be walking 4 to 5 miles a day, about 10,000 steps. Now, what do most people want to do? They'll say, well, I'd rather go run for 20 or 30 minutes than walk for, a couple hours or whatever. Well, that's your choice, but I'm just telling you the minimum for the optimum. You say, well, running's good, running is this, this, that. Running's fine, I run, but walking's better. Okay? And you do need to incorporate some vigorous cardio. I'll get to that in a second. But we should be walking a lot. Okay? I'm giving you the minimum for the optimum here. This is not my information. This is from experts in the area, in the field. Okay? Next, you need a minimum of 3 days a week, 20 to 25 minutes of vigorous cardio. By the way, why do you walk every day? Well, it keeps your blood sugar from spiking after meals, lowers your blood pressure. So there's real need for the walking. But why do you do 20 to 25 minutes, 3 days a week of vigorous cardio? Well, it strengthens your heart. So those that like to run, go run. Okay? But you can swim, you can bike, you can do Zumba. There's a lot of things you can do, but vigorous cardio gets your heart rate up. Okay? So the minimum for that would be 3 times a week, 20, 25 minutes. And the last thing you need to do is 30 minutes once a week of resistance training. Might be push-ups, might be intense yoga, it might be lifting weights. And why do you do that? Well, it's going to help build up bone density. It'll keep your muscles from being more prone to injury. Very important stuff. So we got hydration, 70 to 100 ounces of water a day. You've got exercise, needs to be regularly, a lot of walking, okay? Some other things. Next is sleep. Sleep, vitally important. This is one of the most misunderstood ones of the 4. I think sleep and nutrition are the most misunderstood. What do you need? Well, this is again, experts in the field. The general consensus on sleep is stronger than it is on water. What we really need. Everybody in this room needs a minimum of 7 hours. Okay, 7 hours. Now the recommendations you usually see 7 to 8 for adults. 7 to 8 hours. So it could be 7.5. You get 7.5, but don't go below 7. You might say, well, I'm 6. I've been doing 6 for years, Dee. Well, I'm here to tell you got a problem. You have a real problem. Here's the deal. The closer you get to 6 hours versus 7, you're 3 times more likely to catch a cold. Your immune system's compromised. If you're repeatedly waking up or you're getting poor sleep, you're 5 times more likely to catch a cold. That's just little stuff. Let's get into some serious stuff. Chronic lack of sleep. So you're saying you're a CEO of a company and you've conditioned yourself to get by on 6 hours. You're very misguided. 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours. Guess what? Chronic lack of sleep. You're not getting 7. That's chronic lack of sleep. You're at risk for high blood pressure, heart disease, heart attack, heart failure, stroke, and diabetes. Kills your sex drive. Ages your skin. Makes you gain weight. Oh, my goodness. Me not giving myself enough sleep can make me gain weight? The answer is emphatically yes. Yes. Anxiety and depression. How many people you think go into their health professional and they're dealing with anxiety and depression and they give them advice, maybe, how are you taking care of yourself? What are you eating? How much sleep are you getting? Or do they just get out a little script and go, take this 3 times a day or whatever? That's just so much easier. There's also money in that. There's no money in giving people advice about sleeping right. So hydration, exercise, sleep. And we can talk more about issues of sleep. Do your own research. You should want to know this. Okay? Last one is nutrition. That's really one of the reasons, the main reason that I'm here. I like talking about it, and it's the reason that I got involved with Zija. By the way, I was a customer of Zija Nutrition for 6 months. I had nothing to do with this business. Wanted nothing to do with this business. Because I didn't understand the business. That's a whole different story. But here I am. Because there's real value here for people. And once I learned that, then I was willing to share it. So nutrition, in my opinion, it's the most difficult of the 4 because it costs money. Everybody with me? Listen closely, because most of you don't know this either. I was the same way. I was 43 and really interested in taking care of myself, and I thought I was eating a pretty good diet. My wife was a good cook. We weren't a fast food family. I was taking a multivitamin, all these things. And I was like, man, I was way off. I was better than a lot of people, but I was still way off base. I wasn't doing the things I need to be doing, which is eating fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, leafy green plants, raw nuts and grains on a daily basis. My wife and I weren't reading and learning how to prepare those things without stripping things from them. In other words, we were bamboozled. Bamboozled. Nutrition's difficult, folks, because it costs money. These kinds of things right here, there's a lot of stuff available in this country to eat. Most of it's crap. Okay? Let me make a blanket macro statement here. We are, as a Western, not only the United States, but the Western world, we are over-drugged, we are overfed, and we're grossly undernourished. Okay? Again, over-drugged. Yeah, it's all right. Over-drugged, overfed, perfect time. I see some grease there. Hey. I'm not asking you to turn into a food Nazi now. I'm going to eat some of this stuff probably here in a few moments. It's not all bad. These things pictured up here, they're all bad. Hey, seriously, they're not all bad. I eat some of these things. They're not, I'm not telling you that you have to, like, turn into some freak when it comes to your eating habits. But here's what I'm telling you. Most people, this is all they eat, is this kind of stuff. That's all they eat. Period. And if that's all you eat, you got a real problem. Because you're not giving your body what it needs to function, folks. So some of this stuff here and there is not the end of the world. But for us to function properly, for our bodies, we have to give it the proper fuel, the proper nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals. Okay? This is what Mr. Brailsford saw that the tree delivered. Moringa. What does the moringa deliver? I said it's the most nutritious plant on earth, and what's it giving us? Well, if you watch the documentary, a pharmacologist on there, Dr. Monica Marcoux, she says on the documentary, this comes close to being a perfect source of nutrition. So here's what's so hard for people to get their mind around. Okay? Is that from a single plant, I'm getting what my body needs to function. Everybody, is that registered with everybody? From a single botanical. We take the leaves and the seeds and the fruit of moringa. We're delivering it to you as raw food. Okay? And it's giving you what you need to function as a human being. That's hard for people to really take in. It was hard for me to get my mind around it first. Alright? This has incredible value for people. It's very convenient. Okay? I don't want to live at Rainbow Blossom and Whole Foods. Now, if I lived up here, I'd be shopping at those places and I'd be getting things, because when I still eat, I still don't want to eat like this all the time. I want to eat good things. And so I'd be buying things there, I'm sure. And I still buy good things to eat, because I want to avoid putting bad things in my body. But I'm not looking for nutrients every time I go to the grocery. I'm not doing it. I'm getting it from Zija, from the moringa tree. Okay? So when I drink my Zija, it's like I'm standing there in India and eating the raw tree. My body can fully, it's enzymatically alive, my body can fully recognize it and absorb and extract from it what it needs. Okay? It's a really big deal. It's also incredibly economic. This is really important for those of you that are sharing with people. Okay? Because people, they'll sometimes say, well, what's it cost? How much is it? I love that. Down where I live, I don't know. They'll drive through McDonald's and drop $6 on nothing, and they'll look at this and they'll go, $3. Oh, I can't pay that. No, I can't. I was like, bless their hearts, they don't even understand what it is. Nobody will spend anything on something they don't understand what it is. And some people, bless their hearts, even if they kind of get an idea that it's got something of value for them, they don't want it. They just don't want to do it. I want to do that. I'd rather just live the life that I'm already living. If that's the way you want to live, that's fine. We're here to kind of help educate you, give you some options. Okay? So if I go to Rainbow Blossom or Whole Foods here in Louisville to give myself the nutrition that I need for the day as an adult, it's going to be about $10 to $12. How many of you are spending in Hodgeville, where I live, it's about $8. Nothing organic. How many of you are spending $8 a day, $9 a day on yourself for your nutrition? And you may be spending that amount of money to buy this, but if you're not going to the grocery every day or every other day, living there and buying the correct things, preparing it properly, you're not giving your body what it needs. And even some of those people are still in Zija using what I use, what many of us use. There's lots of vegetarians in Zija. There's lots of juicers in Zija. These are people that are making a real effort to eat right, and they're still getting benefit from this because they understand what it is. Okay. 46 antioxidants, 36 anti-inflammatories. Anti-inflammatories are huge. About 80% of all disease in the body is a direct result of inflammation. You're packing in those naturally. A lot of high-level athletes are gravitated to this because instead of taking NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which are part of their stomachs and their livers, they're getting their anti-inflammatories naturally from this tree. So things like delayed onset muscle soreness, recovery time is what a lot of people refer to. Feeling better quicker. Big, huge. And you're getting it naturally. Omegas 3, 6, and 9, full complement. And the ratio properly. What I read today is the ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s in our diets, the standard American diet here, is anywhere from 12 to 1 to 20 to 1. You might say, what's the problem? Well, omega-6s are inflammatory. We don't need those as much as we need omega-3s. This is correctly ratio. 20 amino acids, full complement of amino acids. But the key is the 9 essentials. I put my kids on it when I learned that alone. Think about this. Any of you sitting here that aren't using Zija right now, where you're getting your 9 Essential every day? I would love for you to come up to me after we get done and you explain to me how you know you're getting the 9 essential amino acids every day or every week. Love to explain. If you can explain it to me, I'll give you $100. Seriously, you can't do it. You hope you are. And here's the deal. You might not have thought about it. They call them essential because your body needs them to function properly. They're building blocks of proteins, start a chain reaction of hundreds of events in your body you're not necessarily going to notice. The only way you get those is from outside sources. Okay? You have to eat them, supplement, you have to get them in your body. Most of you, it's a crapshoot. It's a dice roll. Some of you can eat 6 months worth of food, and you might get all 9, you might not, you don't know. Not good. I put my kids on Zija just for that reason alone. That by itself is worth its weight in gold. Every day, we walk out of the door with our 9 essential amino acids ratioed properly and absorbed into our bodies. Again, the NIH says it sustains life. It's a big deal. But, as many of you have heard me say before, it is an incredibly boring subject for a lot of people. I hope it's not for you, but it is for a lot of people. It's boring. But it's a necessity for life. This whole company, again, was started to deliver this tree as food. They did it. They do have other products. We're going to hear about some of those here shortly. But I want you to understand that the main thing is nutrition. It has value for everyone. If you'd like to study more about moringa, again, you can go to pubmed.gov and read studies for the next several years if you'd like to do that. I'm someone that's read a lot of those. I'm a fact guy, but I've learned that facts tell, stories sell. I can sit here and I can bark out a bunch of facts to you. A lot of them, okay? I speak to doctors, nutritionists, medical professionals. People connect me with them all the time, and I answer questions and lead them to information and help them see, because most of those people are facts people. They want to know. But here's what I've learned. Most people aren't about knowing the facts. They just want to know it has some value for them. And I'm telling you from experience, my family's been on this for 7.5 years, and we would absolutely not do without it. And I don't use this, I'm a Christian, I don't use this word lightly. This is a godsend. This is a blessing. Period. Now, the other things we'll learn about, they'll have some value, but I wouldn't tell anybody that they're necessary. This is necessary. The company has several products that they have created with the tree. There's some things that will accentuate weight balance. Okay, there's a detox tea, which is a very inexpensive, very effective product in flushing your system, your kidneys, your liver, your digestive tract. There's actually a capsule that they've created that a couple of versions of them. There's an AM and there's a burn that are actually thermogenics. A lot of athletes use them. They burn fat, not muscle. There's also a PM version, but there's 3 capsules, and what they really do is they burn adipose tissue. Fat. Okay. They also, a couple of them suppress your appetite a little bit. That's something that you might want to use to accelerate your situation. Maybe athletically, there's people that use them. They're not trying to lose weight. They're trying to burn. Another thing they do is they burn visceral fat. Fat that's in and around your organs. Okay. They created a skincare line. I just had a picture of it here. I use virtually everything shown there. Everything there you can eat. I would recommend it. Probably tastes pretty good. But you can eat. It's all natural. It's been tried on all skin types, hypoallergenic. See, the moringa tree has been used to treat skin for years, hundreds and thousands of years. It goes several layers deep into the dermis. It builds up collagen. But, maybe you're into your skin, you're not. I wasn't really into skincare. My wife got me to try this. I use all of it. It's wonderful. It's just something you need to know about. But again, it's not near as important as nutrition. I'm going to bring up Monica Cooper here in 1 second. And she's going to talk about some things and share some things related to some oils. Before, you may touch on rib sticks briefly, right? Okay. I want to mention one more product line, and this is something you go back and review on your own. There's some great little short tutorial videos that the company's done, and very good, very explanatory. And by the way, the reason that this moringa is shared in the manner that it's shared in is it's a learning and educational experience. There's no way you can put together a 5-minute commercial on what I just talked about and air it and sell this at Walmart or Walgreens or Rite Aid. People would not understand it. Everybody with me? This has to be shared by people. Now, the other things I'm going to mention right now, they can be sold retail very easily. The company has a division of products called Rip Sticks. These are sports fitness supplements. There's 4 of them. The ingredients that are in these sports fitness supplements, there's a pre-workout, there's a post-workout, there's a fuel product for endurance athletes like ultra runners, Ironman competitors, okay? And there's a hydrate. The ingredients that are in these sports fitness supplements are the same as they are in a lot of other products that are out here floating around. But the difference is Zija did not mask those bitter ingredients with artificial sweeteners, flavorants, or colors. So they are 100% all natural. For those that want to be pure, it's important people know about them. Because they're a big deal if you want to be pure. Now some people say, well, what's the big deal about some artificial sweeteners and flavors? Well, it's not a big deal if you're doing them every now and then. This kind of food, it's not a big deal if you're doing it every now and then.
It's a veggie burger, by the way.
Nice. Here's the deal. If I'm taking a pre-workout and I'm taking in artificial refined sugars every day, that's a problem. Guess what? Refined sugar. We're taking in so many refined sugars that it's disrupting the bacteria in our guts. That's why you got all these people now that have to use probiotics, prebiotics, that sort of thing. It's like, we got some real problems we can talk about a lot more in depth, but we don't have time. Just know that the Ripsticks exist. You can go to ripsticksupplements.com and watch tutorials on each of them. Some of you in here that are athletically inclined or you're pushing yourself and you want to get better, I would definitely encourage you to take a look at them. I do use the recovery. In fact, I'll close with this on my part. I was in Wisconsin back in April this past year, and I was in a room full of 40 to 60-year-old Ironman ultra runners, triathletes. I mean, I'm talking about men and women, serious athletes. Some of these people are well known throughout the United States. Their product of choice was XM Plus Nutrition. So you got nutrition plus energy. And recovery, Ripsticks. Recovery. What does recovery have in it? It has branched chain amino acids. It has glucosamine for joints. And it has chlorophyll to clean out lactic acid buildup in your muscles after anaerobic exercise. A real simple little stick. You mix it in water, you drink it. That was the products of choice for those high-level, older athletes. Okay? It's my pleasure to bring up right now, Monica Cooper. Monica Cooper and her husband Brandon are really, really fine people. And what I've enjoyed about being involved with this experience for me is I've been around met a lot of really good people, and we sort of sharpen each other, and we push each other to get better and just be good people and serve people. And her and her husband have done a really good job of serving not only their family, but other people that are interested in sharing this with other people and even customers. By the way, one thing about the company I didn't share with you, most people in Zija, for those of you that are guests here, most people in Zija have nothing to do with the business. So don't feel like you've got to be in some business. That's not what this is about. You can simply be a customer and use our products, and we all pay the same for the products. There's no advantage for being in the business, okay, from product costing. So with that, I appreciate your time very much, and I'm going to turn this over to Monica Cooper.